Jackie. I'm going to go through your course site by content area, making some observations and suggestions. They're really just merely suggestions, and you may take them or leave them, but some people find it's good extra practice to go back and make some of the changes. So first of all, you notice I added a banner to your course. That always kind of makes it feel a little more real to have the title right there as you log in. This is the landing page where your learners will land when they first come into your course. Good job creating an announcement. You want to create announcements that do three things. You want them to welcome and invite and instruct. So you welcome them to the course. You say something that's inviting them to go a little bit deeper, and then you give them some instructions here on what you want them to do next. So you've done a great job posting your first announcement, and I do feel like it's a very welcoming and inviting. As I read along in it, I'm excited to see what the 9 spiritual pathways are, and which one I am and which ones I could grow in and that kind of thing. So you're doing the right thing here. The only thing I would recommend that you add is another paragraph of instruction. So here's how you get started. Here's what I want you to do to begin. Here's the very first thing you're going to do. Something like that tells them what to do. When you have experienced students in your courses, they kind of know some of these things now, but with each course we have a really good likelihood of still brand new people to online learning, and so it's always great, especially the first few days, to feel like you're giving too many instructions, because the people who don't need it won't read it thoroughly, and the people that do need it will have it there for them. So I'm just saying a paragraph at the end of this that says, okay, the next thing you'll want to do is click on assignments and find the assignment 1 and do this. Today we're going to introduce ourselves and read about our first pathway. So go to the assignments tab to find information on that. Something like that will guide them what to do. Okay, to make a change here or really anywhere in the Blackboard environment, you're going to go just to the right of any title and look for this drop-down menu that when I put my cursor on it, it says click for more options. I'm going to click and edit. And then you would just go down here to the place where you have a couple of blank spaces up here. I would go ahead and back up and just remove those. That sometimes happens from copying and pasting. I don't know if that's the case or what you did, but copying and pasting will sometimes just mess the font up just a little bit in Blackboard. So then if you want to expand this and see everything on one screen, you can go to this corner right down here and just expand this down. And then you can add another paragraph of information in here, the instructions, add those here, and then go down and click submit. Now I'm not going to submit because I'm not going to make changes in your course site. Also here or anywhere, if you wanted to set this announcement so that it appears later, so your day 1 announcement really you can just leave available, but on your day 2 announcement you might want to write it that Monday night before Tuesday so that it appears at 6 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday morning, something like that. Then you just would go under these options and click on date restricted, and let's say you wanted to start the course on Monday the 30th, and so you wanted this to open on Monday the 30th and actually I usually set mine for something like 12:30 a.m. or 1 a.m. so that any early birds that come in, the announcement's already there for them, but I don't have to be up early to put it in there. Okay, the other thing is that you don't need to check this box, send out a copy of this announcement. You can, the only problem is when you go to reuse a course, sometimes this will create problems, so I'd say just leave this unchecked. The reason is every email goes out by announcement between 8 and 15 minutes after it posts. That is a standard default setting that we have set so that the announcements go out by email. So keeping that in mind, you may at times need to think about what will this sound like if it lands in someone's email. So I gave you the suggestion before to say click on the red and white tabs on the left or look for assignments on the left. You might also the first day or two need to say something like, when you're logged into the course site, you'll see white and red tabs on the left. Look for the white for the tab assignments to go there and get started for today. So just keep in mind that this may go out by email. If you say things like, see those red and white tabs on the left or something, and they've received it by email, that's not going to make sense, especially to new learners. After the first couple of days, it's not as important to be as careful because students will catch on quickly. Okay, so I'm going to cancel and not make these changes and let you go back and make them if you want to. Okay, the next section is Course Instructor. All right, good job. Oh, there's that darling picture. Yeah, good job here. You've done a good job. If you're comfortable with your address and office being there, then that's fine. You don't have to put that. You can put Louisiana if you want to, or you can leave that blank and it just won't even show. The office hours, I'm wondering if you mean that you're going to be available to people in this course on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to 2, if you're going to be at your computer where you can answer questions, or exactly what that means. So you might think that through a little bit, and you could even put a paragraph down here that says, I will be in my office answering questions from 10 to 2 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so shoot me emails anytime, but that's when you can expect a reply or something like that. Your personal link is great. That gives them some more information on you. And what you've written here is very good. You've got a good combination of your the qualifications you have to be teaching this course, plus a little bit of personal, married with 2 daughters and 2 grandchildren. If you want to share more other kind of personal information about yourself on the discussion board, that's a fine place to do it. You can also do a little more personal information here, but you don't have to do it in both places. What I'm going to suggest, though, is that you might add a couple more little bonding points for them. Something like, in my spare time, I love to read, or, I knit, or I have a cat, or some kind of personal information that helps those people, helps the learners in your class to see you as a real person, and to think about you as someone who has actual interests that they can kind of bond to. So might think about that. That can go here. It can also go, if you introduce yourself under the discussion board, you can save it for over there. Okay, I'm noticing another issue with the font here, with the spacing just a little bit. It doesn't look bad, and I wouldn't worry about it too much, but if you do a lot of copying and pasting, I think I'll just point this out in a place or two just so that you'll see it. What happens is, each of the softwares that you're using, the word processor that you type the information in, your internet browser that you're using, and Blackboard, they all speak with their own kind of language that they use for coding. And occasionally when you copy and paste from one to another, then there'll be a language confusion. And that'll cause things like extra white space within these paragraphs. Also, notice the font is really close together in these. It's not bad, so I wouldn't say change it, but I will show you probably. Now, don't worry about that looking squished there because it looked perfect. Your picture looked perfect out front. Yeah, see, there's spaces between here, so I would just take some of these spaces out. And then if you just highlight it all and change the font, and maybe you liked a different font and you liked this font and you wanted it even bigger than that. So if you change the font and take those spaces out, then that some of that closeness will go away. I'm not going to make a change here. I don't like to make changes in your course site if I don't have to, because of course you may have it the way you like it. So I'm going to cancel and not change it, but you can play with that a little bit if you want to practice a little more. Okay, email your instructor is the next content area. You'll see it just opens up a text box for them to type in a subject and an email. This comes directly to you, and when you are the instructor of the course, I will remove myself as the instructor. I'll put myself in as a teaching assistant, and so it will come just to you as the instructor. And they can send an email that'll come to your inbox without having your exact email address to email you directly until you give it to them. Okay, so I'm going to cancel that and go on to course materials. Okay, great job. I have been in here and looked around just a little bit and saw that you had posted your schedule. So that's part of the reason I had seen some of the font confusion in here with these wide open empty spaces, and that's a lot of scrolling, so I would recommend that you probably go back in and remove some of those empty spaces and clean that up just a little bit. If you're having a problem with it, holler and I can work on it, but I just don't want to do it without your okay. And then I know, because I got down here and there is the PDF is attached down here, which is what I wanted to see that you were able to do. And I've opened it, and this is really great. What a lot of really great work you've done here. And that allows you to then just start building your content based on all of this work that you've done. And it just really looks like it will be easy for you to put this information in, and I know you've done a lot of it. I'm going to leave that open because I might want to refer back to that. So again, so the other thing I was going to show you is what I think you might do instead of having this all the way down here. You might come up here and edit this one. And then you'll be in here, you can come in here and clean up some of the font that we talked about. And I know that's going to take a little time and a little work, but I think it'll be worth it. I think you'll be glad you did it. And again, like I said, if you're having problems with it and you would like it done, and I think it's because, see, this one has a little space before this. There you go. Anyway, if you'd like it done for you, holler. I'm sure that's something I can take care of pretty quickly, but I hate to make changes to your course site. Okay, then what I recommend you do is attach that document right to this post. So even though it's giving all the text there, it also gives them a quick and easy way to download and save it to their computer. Okay, so you can browse your computer, but now that you've already loaded this document once, you can browse course, and it will take you to the course files, and there you will find that course file, which looks like it looks like you've maybe loaded it twice now. And so it'll just keep putting more and more PDFs in here, or you can come to this one and select it and submit, and then it's going to attach it to this. And I think I will go ahead and do that. Oh, but I made those other changes. Well, I'll leave those too. I don't like to usually do that, but I will. So we can just see a little bit of the difference. Okay, so then that adds this 2-week course PDF up here to the schedule, where it's easier to find and than it was down low. And then removing some of those spaces starts to put the text together closer so that it's a little easier to read. Now, you don't necessarily have to do this. You don't have to put all the text. You can really just give them this and tell them to open it and download it to their computer. So you don't, if you would rather do that, you could just delete this post and just add a sentence or two to this small one that you have down here. And, again, thinking that this new learners could come in, they may not know exactly what to do intuitively, but if you can just give them a sentence or two of, if you'll click on 2-week course in PDF, in quotes, if you'll click on that, then you can save this. You can see our schedule for the 2 weeks, and you can save it to your computer. Some little bit of instruction. And then you don't have to put all the text, although I'm not opposed to putting all the text there, because some people like to be able to just refer back to it right here and come to it and say, okay, this is day 2. This is what we're supposed to do today on day 2. All right. And I'm assuming there's going to be more under assignments as well. So, okay, but that's good. You've done a lot of work. Now you'll notice I've embedded a course evaluation form. This is for your use. It is in every course. It is a very generic course evaluation. It has 6 kind of grayscale Likert questions of yes, I strongly agree to strongly disagree. And then the last question is an essay question, which is where we receive the bulk of our value from this evaluation form. The first 6 are kind of warm up questions, and then the last one is tell us anything else you'd like to tell us. And that's where we receive a lot of good quotes and testimonials and information and feedback. So we ask that you do deploy this, and you do need to do it yourself. We don't do it on your behalf. You can either, to make it available, you have to edit the survey options. And then you can scroll down here, and you have to click make the link available, yes, even if you set a date and time. And then you can also come down here and set a display after date and time. So let's say your class is going to end on February 24th, and you want them to be able to complete it that day, then you set it to open that day, and then add a little bit of, well, I think we already have a please complete this and give us some feedback, but you can add more in here if you want. Okay. The other settings are fine, but you do have to make the link available and or set a date. Well, you have to make the link available no matter what, but then or if you want to set a date, you can set a date there. Okay. So I really recommend that just as you're setting up your course, you go ahead and set it up for the last day so that it's done. And but if for some reason you do not want to do that, then you can set it up to you can make it available when you're ready and send them an email. And you really do need to encourage your participants to complete this as well. Okay, the other thing I was going to say is that you can make changes to the survey itself if you want to. We're not opposed to that. If you have other questions you want to ask, if you want to tweak some of these questions, if you want to know some specifics, some other things, you can come in here. I would recommend you leave that, add any comments you'd like to share, just because it's really a great place to get feedback. But you just come in here and go under create question, and then you can select the different types of questions to create an essay or a fill in the blank or multiple choice, multiple answer. This is the one we use, the opinion scale. And you can edit this if you want to. All right, I'm going to go back to course materials one more time just to say again that is under edit the survey. Allows you to make changes to the questions. Edit the survey options allows you to set the date or make the evaluation available. Okay, good job. Assignments. Okay, this content area is no longer empty, so you're welcome to delete this. It's a choice right under here, under delete, and then that will just take that out of there. I do put a note in here that just says it's a good idea early on to encourage your participants to read through the participant FAQs. You can do that in your first announcement, or you can do it somewhere in the first day's assignment. Just say, if you're new to Blackboard, please read through the participant FAQs content area, because there may be some questions there. Oh, you did it already. I see. Very good. There. Oh, good. You already did that. You follow instructions so well. Okay, so you can just delete this one out then. You're all set. Okay, so day 1 assignment. Now this is good. Okay, start a journal. You're going to do journals. That's good. I knew we talked about that you probably would do that. And then they're going to read in the book. Yeah, this is all great. This is super for the day 1. Again, there's a little bit of that font issue going on, so if you want to go in and change the font to something that Blackboard recognizes, that'll probably straighten that out and maybe remove some of the blank spaces between there. It looks like there's still a space before content, so you may have to remove a space before content to get it to line up okay. Okay, so I want to say this about journals. This is a great place to say this. Journals is found under communication tools. I think I will jump over there. There are a lot of communication tools, and most of them you will not use in Blackboard. If you want to see what is available to your students, you can turn the edit mode off. And then you can see this is what they're able to see, and of course there is the journals content area right there. Let's say, for instance, you're not going to use blogs, you don't want them to see that, then feel free to hide it. Or, you know, the communication tools, I mean, it's kind of a redundant area because of what I'm going to recommend for you for journals. But so let's say you don't want them to see blogs. Where did that go? You can just click on hide link, and it will hide just like it's hidden these other things. Okay, so what I'm going to recommend is that you create a red and white tab over here on the left that is for journals. You might, let's see how you referred to it here. Start a journal. Okay, so I recommend you just create, it will be a tool link. You will select journals, and then you could call it My Journal and make it available to users and submit, and now voila, we have a new content area, My Journal link on the left. I might suggest you would move it up here under the discussion board, just someplace where it makes sense, and you can name it something different if you want to. But to give you practice doing that, because I think that would be great for you to learn to do, I'm going to delete that one I just created. It's going to ask me several times to make sure I'm sure. Yes, I'm very sure. Okay. Oh. Oh, Blackboard booted me out. That's not fair. Okay, now you're really going to see behind the scenes here. When I go in to find your... Oh yeah, that's right. You didn't have pathway in the... Path. I have so many classes I have to... I don't know why it booted me out. That's really funny. It didn't like what I did. Okay, so now that one's gone. No, so you'll have to create your own journal. And but I think that's a really good idea for this course in particular, to have it as a link. Okay, back to assignments. I see you've actually done a lot of work in here and used your very, very good document there to organize yourself with, and I think this is all fine. I will show you a fun thing. If you have any kind of interest at all, you can change the color of your text for the name, and I like, this is a color I like. It goes that one, and apply. That would add a little color to your page. There, like that, day 2. You might also consider making your font just a little bit bigger, and I'll show you how that will look. There. It's a little bit easier to read on the page if the font's just a little bit bigger. I'm going to leave that one. Hopefully you'll see how to turn it back if you want to turn it back. That way you can look at the difference when you're logged in. Okay, great. Now let's see. Okay, so I had part of the assignment. Let's see if you did it at the bottom. That's, yeah. Oh, there's the schedule down there. You might, again, remember you can make attachments to any of these, so you might just attach this to the very first day, to day 1, or, well, what you might do is actually in day 1 tell them it's under course materials so that they can find it. Attach it here, tell them it's also there so that they can find it. And I'm thinking that right now, as it is, you have 3 places. If you make a change to your course schedule in any way, if you add something, you have 3 places you have to change it. You have to change it here on the week 2 document, the schedule document. You would have to change it here on the assignment. And if you continue to have all of this text here under schedule like this, then you'll have to make those changes there. So you might simplify things for yourself if you just don't have all of this text on this page. Just delete this all out and just have the schedule as an attachment with a little open this for the schedule. That way they can find it easily, but you'll only have 2 places to make changes instead of 3. And I don't think you will find that you need all this text on this page. Okay, back to assignments. I did suggest that one way to organize content is through folders. I don't think you need folders because what you have is very nice and very simple. So please don't take this that I'm saying you should do this. I just want you to see how to do it so that you can see what it looks like. So I'm going to show you. Okay, under Build Content, you're going to click on Content Folder. And I'm just going to call it Assignment 1. And sometimes I like to choose one of these other colors just for fun. Okay, so I'm going to create this folder and so that you can see what it does and what it looks like. But I really want to strongly say I'm not suggesting this for your course. I don't think you need it. I think what you have is great. Okay, so it always appears at the bottom, and it's, as you can see, the newest thing appears at the bottom, and it's right here, the assignment. And I didn't put any instruction or anything, but it looks like this. It looks like a manila folder, and you want to think of it like a manila folder in your desk drawer where you put the title on the outside, and then you might put a sentence or 2 about what's in there, but you're going to put the content on the inside of the folder. So to open the folder, you click on the title of the folder after you've created it, and then you're going to see this screen looks familiar, and you would create items in here. And I'm just going to create an item that I guess I could have put your course schedule. There we go. And so there's your item inside that folder. So again, let me just show you that under Assignments in this content area, there is now a folder that when you open it has content inside of it. So I'm hoping that makes sense. I hope it's also making sense that I don't think you need this. I think what you have is great. So, but you may have a need to build other courses sometimes. So I'm going to leave that there so you can see what it looks like. Just again, wipe it out by delete when you're finished looking at it. Oh, hey, I'll show you this too. To move things around, you can click and drag these posts. So let's say you want the schedule up around by at the top instead of at the bottom. You can drag it like this. Or if that drag and drop is not working for you for some reason, some browsers don't like it, there's also a reordering over here. And I can locate the schedule, click on it, and move it up to ahead of day 1. Yeah. So now see it's moved up here. But I'm going to put it back so that you have to decide where you want it. There we go. And voila, it's back at the bottom, right there. Okay, the other thing you can do, I don't know if you would have any interest in this, but you can set all of these to open on the day that they're supposed to open, and you can even put them in reverse, so that when it's day 10, then day 10 opens at the top of the list, and when it's day 11, then day 11 opens at the top of that. To you, they look backwards. Well, and to the students, they look backwards once they're all in place, but then they just appear at the top instead of having to scroll down to get to the next one and remember which one they're on or which day they're ready for. So that's a good way to do it too. And again, to set it for your day set it for opening on a certain day, which I wouldn't have expected you to do this yet. But once you set the dates for your course, if you want to, then you can also come in and set for these to open on the right day. So let's say you start this on the 6th, day 5 is going to be the 10th, and then I would set it to open just around 1 o'clock or 12:30 and submit, and then, well, I'll go ahead and do that just so you can see. And then you see that day 5, which is the one we were messing with, says availability. Item is not available. It will be available after February 10th. And so that means that on February 10th at 1 o'clock, it's going to open and show to your students. They're never going to see this text. They can't, at this point, to see what your students can see, you can turn your edit mode to off. And then you will notice that day 5 is missing between day 4 and day 6 because we made it unavailable. I'm throwing a lot at you. I hope this isn't too confusing, but it's always fun when somebody's done so much work because it's fun to show you some other options and things you can do when you have so much content built. I'm going to remove this. So I left a couple of changes in this content area, but those are for you to look at and decide. You can come back and decide if you want the font littler, bigger, if you like the color, if you want to pick a different color. The only thing we ask that remains the same are the colors of the background of the course and the colors of the white and red tabs. And that's just for 2 reasons. One is a standardized look to all of our courses, and the other is I troubleshoot a lot of issues without looking. And so I'll say, well, do you see the white and red tabs on the left? And if they are not, if the instructor has turned the tabs to orange, for instance, then I have an immediate communication problem because I don't know the tabs are orange and the student's not understanding me because I'm asking for white and red tabs. So 2 reasons for the standardization there. All right, Jackie. So now that is great. Okay, the only other thing, let's see. Please read through introduction, start a journal entry. Are you going to have them interact with each other on the discussion board? I'm not sure I've seen that there are any assignments for that. although because you have them doing a lot of journaling, which is totally fine if this is an independent course. But if you want them to be able to interact on some of the things, you could create some opportunities for that in the discussion board. I don't see any of those, but I could, because I'm glancing at it quickly, I could be missing. To build a course link over to the discussion board in here, you just go under Build Content and Course Link, and you can set it to, you want it to link to, I like to close these. You want it to link to the discussion board, and it looks like you have created another discussion board. So you could click on, and that's confusing me now because the word is blogging. So I'm going to look at that when I get over there. Anyway, if you want to use the discussion board, you can click here. And you can even rename it something like Let's Discuss, and give them a sentence or two of instruction, what you want them to do, and then submit. Again, remember those always appear at the bottom, but I can move it anywhere. And this is what a course link looks like. It's underlined just like the content folder is. The icon is different, and when you click on it, it takes them to the discussion board. Okay. All right, so here's your discussion board. Good. I see that you've created a discussion forum, which is one thing I want to see that you understand. This is a place for the students in your course to interact. So like you say here, share with as a highlight you have recorded in your journal. That's great. You're giving them an opportunity to share something that they've been working on privately, but you're telling them that they're going to be sharing it with other people. And so this is all fine. The title's confusing me. You may have some more to say to me after you see this, or you may want to change it, because of blogging is a different tool, and I don't think you need it at all. I think you have a great tool in the discussion, in the journaling, and then if you want to use the discussion board for them to interact, just use that. To change it, of course, edit through that little drop-down window. You could change the title here to let's share, share with new pathways. It could be any kind of title. And again, you can set it to display after if you want it to display later, or you don't have to. And then most of these usually I just leave the same, but you can look at those and see if there's anything you want to change or anything you want to allow them to delete their own posts. You want to allow them to tag posts, any of those things. You're welcome to select those changes. Some people like for their participants to be able to edit their own published posts. I usually don't turn that on, but you can if you want to. You just click on it and add the check mark. Okay, I'm going to cancel, not make that change. But mainly, just for the assignment, I needed to see that you're able to create a discussion forum, and you did fine. There is a generic introduce yourself discussion, which is here for you to, it's for your use. I found that a lot of instructors didn't quite know how to write an opening introduce yourself forum, so I've just embedded one in every course. But you're more than welcome to use it as it is. You're more than welcome to change it and ask them questions about, their own spiritual pathways, or, some more personal questions in this, rather than this little interactive question set that I've chosen here. Or you can delete it and create your own, whichever you prefer to do. The hints are a little bit helpful, especially for those new students, so it's probably better if you want it different if you just edit this one and leave the hints so that they have those for learning how to use it for the first time. Okay, live session tabs are there if you decide you want to hold live sessions. If you don't want to, you don't have to make these available at all. You can just leave them hidden, and you can tell that the instructors or the students can't see it because of these boxes. or if you turn the edit mode to off, they can't see it. There's an instructor info, which gives the instructions you've had for creating content. There's also a few videos in here, how to create an announcement, how to add your information, how to add course materials content, how to add a discussion forum. So that's just there for reference. If you forget later, ooh, how did I create a forum? Might come here and see if there's a video to help you with it. Also, if you email me and ask me, I'll be glad to help you. Okay, communication tools I've covered. Websites, this is a content area that I didn't give any instruction for, and so it's fine if you haven't even paid any attention to it. I have linked to some websites. If you click on one of these, you'll notice they open in a new tab. So it doesn't take them out, it takes them out of Blackboard completely rather than changing Blackboard into something else, and then that can be confusing. The time zone converter is helpful if you're doing live sessions, but none of this is necessary. The Adobe Reader, if you have them read a lot of PDFs, they may need to download an Adobe Reader. Or if you have websites you want to share with your students, you can create them in here as well. If there's some in here that you don't want, if you don't want BeADisciple.com, just delete it. And then you're welcome to, to leave or use any of them that are here. Participant FAQs we talked about earlier. It's great to encourage all your students to go through here as they begin. These are just some questions that I've been asked over and over and over again, so it gives them some good help on how to use a discussion board and how, what to do if they're having trouble, that kind of thing. So it's good to encourage them to do this and go through this first. Okay, to wrap up, finally, I will just point out that there is a control panel down here. You may have explored it, you may not have explored it. You might take a little time to do that. The files will show you, you have to click twice to get the files. All of the files that are uploaded in your course. This one is uploaded twice, and if it wasn't changed any, let's see, it looks like this one was, oh, that's one that I've uploaded. This one's uploaded twice. If you didn't change anything from 1 to 2, then you can delete this one. Or if this is updated in some way, you may have a place where you need to update it. So you don't have to have both of them in there. It looks like they were just a minute apart, so probably this was just I'll load it here, I'll load it there, and it loaded into the course site twice. That's not very important, but okay, so that's where the files are. The course tools are all kinds of tools that are under communication tools and even other tools and way more stuff than you probably ever will need. But if there's something you want to be able to do that you can check under here to see if there's something. There's the link to blogs, collaboration, data management, discussion board, send an email. So that's under course tools. A good thing to know is under evaluation and performance dashboard, you can see some information on your students, including the last time they logged in, the last time of day they logged in, the last day of the week they logged in, or if they've never logged in, this will say never here, which is valuable information because you can tell that this student has never logged in, and send them an email. By about day 2 or 3, you could do this and send them an email and say, I can tell you haven't ever logged into this course. Are you having technical issues? That kind of thing that spurs them on to get started. I don't want you to miss out on too much. Grade Center, if you do any kind of grading at all, there's a Grade Center with columns. And of course, since we're both instructors, we're not going to be here, but they'll be listed by name. And then all these, if you add any tests, they'll be listed here. Here's the course evaluation, for instance, that I showed you earlier. And there'll be columns down this way showing you who has completed those things. And there is a help, great help for instructors, but that you're welcome to look at and use if you want to, or contact me at any time. I wouldn't go through here, just contact me if you need help. Okay, it's great. You've done a great job, Jackie. I'm really excited about how much work you've done. And if at any point you want me to look at something again, just send me an email and ask me to, and I will. Thanks.